And hi, folks. This is your old pal, Uncle Al. And this is part two of Uncle Al and Talk Chats about 10/21/22. For the next 10 days is going to be real fun for America when the weather changes. Now, we're going to talk about geopolitical stuff. Okay, because a lot of people, a lot of weak people, and a lot of stupid people have really set the world on a course where, people are panicking, go see Canadian pepper. Okay, a lot of people are doing that. Do you see Uncle Alan doing that? No, I'm calm and I do food videos. Unfortunately, they locked me out again. If you're in the YouTube ghetto, you may not get any views, watched, or likes. Why? Because you don't fit into their specifications. All right? YouTube has an algorithm, one, this is geopolitics, that they have to look for 15 to 40-year-olds or 18 to 38-year-olds. Okay? That's their prime directive. For YouTube. YouTube has to deal with a lot of countries. And they say, oh, we're an American country. Don't you believe it. If FCC find out what they were doing, they will go to San Ramon, arrest everybody there in that corporation, but we're part of the alphabet group. You're going to prison. And you're going to face FCC and a few federal investigations. If NSA and the FCC found out what they're doing, a lot of YouTubers like, I never went to federal prison. Well, bend over and get your butt greased. Okay? Your next, 3 to 10 years, or 3 to 7 years, or 3 to 5 years? Okay? How deep you are in. Okay? Remember, or you're a YouTube creator. What do you mean I'm going to federal prison? Well, you're working for this company, and actually it's a Chinese subsidiary or Russian subsidiary, or it could be a North Korean subsidiary. A lot of people in Texas finds out that really quick. Evil laughter. Okay, let's talk about geopolitics. Now, remember we were talking about Uncle Al's top 10 predictions for 2022 notes from 1982, 1992, 2001, 2007, 2018, and that was part one. We won't do part two. Everybody be crying. I feel depressed. Fine, I'll kick you in the nads and we'll find the final solution. Yeah, pound some common sense. Grow some well, I kicked your nads in, so don't worry about that. You don't have any, so stop whining. Get away from me. Okay? We have the blood and terror wars, the dirty wars. Right now, we are in the resource wars. Limited nuclear events. 3 billion dead, dying, and sick. Eat that, Hubble's cat. All right, because Hubble's cat is in Eastern Ontario. Okay, West Ontario, you're all right. Because if anybody asks me, Chinese, Russians, Americans, French, British, you only have to nuke one spot of Ontario. That's Eastern Ontario. That hooks up to Quebec. It's the liberal zone. And you don't need that many nukes. Uncle Al has a cheaper way, a lot easier way, maybe half of a Trident missile or half one of the Soviet ones, Russian ones. A lot of people confuse Russia, okay, this geopolitical stuff, as Cold War enemies. All right, when you mention stuff from the Cold War 30, 40, 20 years ago, 25 years ago, Uncle Al tends to look at you like you're because your information's wrong. Okay? Number 2, hunger, starvation, No food. Man eats man. Cannibalism by mothers and little kids. It's not going to be grown men, muscular. No, it'll be hungry mothers feeding their kids. Donner party. Yeah, where's that axe? Uncle Joe looks like pretty good to eat now. Okay? So remember that, number 2. World political stuff. Hunger, starvation, no food, man eats man, cannibalism by mothers and kids. Paris, under siege. See Paris in 1871. France fights alone against the Blue Helmets. Government of France relocates Quebec. Okay, saves Quebec from nuclear annihilation. They could end up like East Ontario. Okay. Let's see. And then we go up. Inflation eats rich and poor. Don't really care. New robber barons. We're talking, you have the pirates and you have the robber barons, the new ones. They don't have a very long life to live. Because a lot of pirates are angry. Arrgh! Or Morlock. Arrgh! You Eloy. Or Zoomer. The Zoomer, or Generation Z, the Zoomer generation. You're going to be eaten. Okay? And the masses. You lose out due to bad government planning, greed, and stupidity. And then we have iRobot. The AI babysits mankind or kills them. Okay, be Terminator. But right now, the way things going, 50-50. I'd be not afraid of the robot Terminators, but the iPhones. Okay? Death of a dictator and followers. Okay, number 7. We're coming up. We only have 2 months left. So it could be Putin, Xi of China, okay, or America with Captain Crazy and crew. And we're going to talk more about that in the 3rd part. And it's going to be a fun one, folks. Death of a dictator by illness, disease, or 2, 4, 6, 8. Who do we assassinate? By their own parties. Okay? You have to understand this. The death of a dictator could be North Korea, could be Russia, could be China, it could be Iran. Iran, they're really pissed. All right? When your wife's not going to have sex with you and chases you with a butcher knife, I think you might want to overthrow one of those guys off. They are fed up. And they're not taking any of this. And a lot of those pleasant Muslim women, about had it, are gearing up with every firearm you can imagine. Okay? You think mothers are mad? Wait until you see a mother with AK-47 and grenades and rocket launchers. Okay? I would not be one of the Ayatollahs telling them. Well, also it says in the Quran, don't take this kind of malarkey from men. And they're going to use that, and again, death of a dictator and followers. Okay? Now, right now I've been quietly studying Southeast Asia and cultures. I have a pretty good idea once I got a few things settled. We have a lot of M16A2s, A2s, which kind of interests me because I could do a couple of modifications. I make a really cheap and quick saw squad automatic weapon. The only problem is it tends to burn out the barrel, but it's a way Uncle Alan to make money because everybody's doing the M4 carbine setup and they're not looking at the big picture. And Indonesia, because their budget's tight and also they're spread out in certain areas, I could buy up through Department of Defense, they're morons, a whole bunch of M16A2s. Modify it, put Uncle Alan's special bipod on it, modify the trigger arrangement for 4 to 6 bursts, not semi-automatic, not full automatic. bursts, 4 to 6. Okay? And then take just regular 30 round magazines and you banana clip them, and you got a cheap instant saw. Nothing else has to be changed except for the barrel. Make it heavier and get rid of the bayonet lug. Okay? And with my bipod and new sight picture with railings and scopes, it'll fit Indonesians' brush wars in the next century, this century. Okay, that's 2030 and 2040. Remember, a lot of people got the CO2 thing wrong, big time. We moved 4 inches. So that means all the oceans in the world are going to raise 1 meter. Do I have to worry? No, I live in California. Okay, because you're all idiots. All right, when we move 4 inches, we gain 1/4 meter high. Okay, only a very small portion of California will be flooded. Everything else, like, gee, the beach looks really far away. Yeah, because it's a 50-foot cliff. There's the water. Go swim. Okay? That I'm telling everybody, you better listen to old Uncle Al. All right? But the beach is right there. Yeah, and the water's 50 feet below. Go swim. Yeah, just jump off the cliff into the rocks, sandy beach, and then go, punk. All right? You don't know what kind of earth changes are coming up. So I'm tired about that. But the big thing is, right now, on geopolitical stuff, death of a dictator. Which one's going to get it? All right? You pick anybody in the world. Because I've been reading up and studying what profitable area I can make a lot of money. And Indonesia is one of them. Malaysia is second place. Vietnam is always interested for arms market. It's like, remember I told you the 3 powerhouses in the mid-20th century? 21st century? Vietnam. Vietnam got tired of China, and Vietnam and the South Chinese and the West Chinese, well, we got tired of this baloney of Central Command and speaking Mandarin, stuff like that. They are those areas, you know, in Hong Kong and Macau, everybody is like, we're not foreigners, we're Chinese. And with backed by Taiwan, guess what's going to happen to Beijing? Everybody in Southeast Asia, including India, Madagascar, you name it, even Japan, okay, North, South Korea, all going to be marching against mainland China, including Russia. If Russia's smart and start talking to these countries, okay, especially Japan and South Korea, because they need their technical support, and also prevents North Korean from flooding refugees into there. Okay, China don't have a plug nickel. Okay, only problem is who's going to get keeping Alaska and Hawaii. Good chance it'll be China for Alaska and British Columbia, but that's the temperate belt. The northern belt of Alaska is going to be controlled by the Russians. So you're going to have like King of the Hill, America just toppled off with Captain Crazy and crew, and it's Russia and China. China doesn't like Russia, Russia doesn't like China. So you're going to say, well, I'm King of the Hill. No, we are King of the Hill. And they're going to push and shove. All right? That leaves my favorite areas, the Philippines, which I considered more like a, how can you say it? It's not an Asiatic country because of Spanish colonization. It'd be close to more like a Latin American country or Central American country. You have to do your research, and there's several books you have to read. I'm not going to put up to it because I don't want to do links or references. I had it because you should have done your own research. Okay, from the 850 to 1850s. God, that textbook drove me nuts. Okay, it had a lot of factors in there, a lot of kingdoms, Empires rose, empires fell. The weirdest one that I studied was the Hindi one, or Hindu, and whatchamacallit, yeah, Hindu. You know, it's like they had problems. It was a rice growing culture, so you had malaria and tapeworms and pinworms, every kind of uh, parasite you can imagine. Plus, they had tropical jungles and they had heat, no air conditioning. So you cooked the rest of the day. All right? They couldn't do anything, they couldn't advance. Other countries like Europe, they had plains, like America had plains and it's cooler climate and snow. Japan critically is schizoid because half of it was cooler temperatures, the other half was semi-tropical. So Japan was kind of wishy-washy like England, all right, except England was more colder. Japan was borderline, you know. If you study rice cultures versus wheat cultures and other hard type grains, those cultures, this is why Mongolia went overboard on northern China and the Sung dynasties. Oh, crap! You know, same thing with Korea. Korea had that same wishy-washy weather, but was a middle kingdom between China and Japan. Japan was a little kid on the block going copying, no stick up the finger, and copying from their older brothers and siblings, Korea and China and whatchamacallit. I'm still researching on Siberia, kind of. It's a loose confederation, but studying all those factors in for Northern Asia. Also, the religious text from Hindu to Muslim to Buddhist, Buddhist, Muslim to Hindu. Okay, and it's all centered on Java. Okay, a lot of these explorers, Muslim explorers, came through the route, hit India, then hit Southeast Asia, and back and forth. And then the reversal. A lot of Indonesians headed towards Madagascar, off of Africa, and then towards Africa trade routes. And then you see a big technical explosion that way. Or towards the Polynesians, towards that way, towards South America. Trouble is, because of the heat, disease, jungle, and parasites, we're not talking little parasite, we're talking malaria, tapeworms, you name it. Everything in the jungle is damn trying to kill you. Crocodiles, Australia. The Muslims, the Chinese, the Javanese, everybody looked at it and like, okay, we went from a nice humid area where we could find water, and they seen the coast, and then they see the rest of Australia. Screw that. We're staying over here. So Australia never got colonized by these Southeast Asian countries. They looked at it, they looked around like, hell no. Okay, and went back. So in that time period from 9 BC, I think 9 BC or 900 BC, there's counter in that whole area, all right, except for the Philippines, Japan, and it's like little island groups, and Ceylon, God, it's like, okay, constant trade routes, all right. Usually it's not as bad and it's not as crazy. And then you have the thugs, the English, the Portuguese, and the Dutch. We're talking like, oh, the Dutch, pleasant people. No, they were worse colonizers than the Portuguese were. And then the Spanish, hey, we're going to take over the Philippines. Okay, they had a big brouhaha, that with the Dutch, the Portuguese, and the Spanish. Okay, and that's a whole different section of geopolitical at that time. So we're stuck with, going back, with Death of a Dictator. Okay, Captain Crazy and crew, or it could be Putin, or it could be Zing and a few other places. I already mentioned the end of the Zoomer apocalypse. Okay, I gave a little bit more time leeway on that. Number three, I'm still worried about that. The asteroids, or a bit of it, we have, I think, 2 more months. I think it's the Orions. The Orion type meteorites and asteroids. So we got that one. Hopefully Ohio gets it again. And number 10, I forgot. It's something serious. Okay? But the big thing is somebody's going to die. And we know if it's changed. Next part of the series we're going to talk about possible events. Okay? If you study geopolitical, a lot of these countries, a lot of their militaries are damn nervous. They know they cannot fight a full-fledged war. Okay? China's nervous because other parts of China are getting totally fed up of what Beijing is doing. It's like, you lost touch with the people. And they say, we're communists. We don't know what the hell you guys are. They might be, okay, Central Command. Same thing with Washington. Not too much difference. I live in a fantasy world. The heat, the heat, the heat. Call the Secret Service and make sure the president don't pee in the rose garden in front of the little kids. Okay? They're having both problems. North Korea, they're having a big problem, which makes China and Russia nervous because if they have a coup, the next video coming after this, if they have another faction coming, inner problems within the regime, South Korea is going to get not invaded, flooded with refugees. China or Russia will go in there, will stop the stupidity. Okay? They ain't taking no chances because North Korea is their little dog and wild card. So they got to put, all right? Iran is the wild card in the Middle East. Everybody in Africa finally realized that Europe is being, whatchamacallit, they don't have resources, and then for years being the puppet master over resource-rich areas of the world. Everybody's waking up. In America, it's the opposite because of the fantasy governments of the world. Okay, people are going to realize, and gee, Uncle Alan has the squad automatic weapon that he bought from the stupid American and made a really good cheap squad automatic weapon. Now we can pick up for $200. Okay, because like I said, Uncle Alan always outthinks everybody. Okay, folks, I'll probably do another video on what I was talking about on the M16A2. All right? A lot of people don't understand that, but Uncle Alan's greedy. And I'll be seeing you, and I'll catch you later. Remember, every small group needs a squad automatic weapon. So buy it from Uncle Al. And somebody asked me, what's my formula of making money? I don't have any money. I'm broke. I'm poor. Okay? Why? It's, one, I'm nuts. Two, it's also my tax thing. And people finally realize, oh, when you went, okay? I don't have to pay taxes. I'm nuts. Okay, I do pay taxes, but they keep saying I don't really need to bring it in quarters and pennies, and you make less than $5,000 a year. Go away. Okay, I keep bringing my receipts and everything, and they look at me, you make less than $5,000 a year, and most of the time you help out charities. Go away. I'll tell you my secret formula I learned from millionaires, billionaires, people who had money and lost money. These people lose millions of dollars and also make millions of dollars. See, Uncle Alan isn't stupid. I just look stupid. I'll be seeing you, and I hope you have a nice day. Sorry this was a long one. Everybody asked me questions about this one. Okay, and this ends part 2. I'll see you on part 3. That's going to be a fun one. And we'll have a movie review with it too. Bye now.